My fiancé's childhood friend tried to sabotage our wedding, but I had the last laugh. My fiancée, Sarah, and I have been together for 5 years. We met in college, fell in love, and have been inseparable ever since. Our relationship has always been strong, built on trust, communication, and mutual respect. We got engaged 6 months ago, and we were so excited to start planning our dream wedding. Everything was going smoothly until Sarah's childhood friend, Chloe, re-entered our lives and decided to make it her personal mission to destroy our happiness. Chloe and Sarah were best friends growing up, practically sisters. However, their friendship had a tumultuous history. Chloe was always the more dominant one, a bit manipulative, and had a habit of making everything about herself. Sarah, being the sweet, non-confrontational person she is, often let Chloe get away with it. They drifted apart in college when Sarah moved away for school, and Chloe stayed in their hometown. We heard bits and pieces about Chloe over the years, a failed engagement, a series of rocky relationships, and a general air of discontent with her life. Sarah always felt a pang of guilt about the distance, even though I knew it was largely Chloe's doing. When we announced our engagement, Chloe, out of the blue, reached out to Sarah, gushing about how happy she was for her and how much she missed her. Sarah, ever the optimist, was thrilled to reconnect. I was a little wary. I'd heard enough stories about Chloe's past behavior to be cautious, but I trusted Sarah's judgment. I figured, worst case, she'd be a slightly annoying guest at the wedding. Oh, how wrong I was. Chloe immediately inserted herself into all aspects of the wedding planning. She offered to help with everything, from picking out flowers to tasting cakes. At first, it seemed genuinely helpful. Sarah was overwhelmed with choices, and Chloe, with her strong opinions, seemed to make decisions easier. But then, the subtle dig started. She'd casually mention how a particular dress style wouldn't flatter Sarah's figure, or how a venue was nice, but not really Sarah's caliber. Sarah, being Sarah, just brushed it off as Chloe being Chloe. I, however, started to notice a pattern. Chloe would always undermine Sarah's choices and try to steer things towards what she liked, not what Sarah wanted. The first major red flag was the bridesmaid dress fiasco. Sarah had a vision for her bridesmaids: elegant, flowing emerald green dresses. We spent weeks looking for the perfect style. When we finally found them, everyone loved them, except Chloe. She declared they made her look frumpy and that the color clashed with her skin tone. She then, without consulting Sarah, went out and bought a completely different dress in a completely different shade of green, insisting it was much more flattering. Sarah was upset, but Chloe turned on the waterworks, claiming she just wanted to feel confident for Sarah's big day, and Sarah, being unable to stand confrontation, reluctantly agreed to let her wear her chosen dress. This was the moment I realized Chloe wasn't just annoying, she was actively trying to sabotage. Things escalated rapidly after that. Chloe started making snide comments about our relationship, questioning if Sarah was truly happy or if I was really the one. She'd bring up old boyfriends of Sarah's, hinting that they were better matches. At first, these comments were made privately to Sarah, but soon, she started making them in front of me, disguised as jokes. One evening, at a dinner with both our families, Chloe, after a few too many glasses of wine, loudly declared that she always thought Sarah and her high school sweetheart, Mark, would end up together. My parents were visibly uncomfortable, and Sarah was mortified. I pulled Chloe aside and told her, in no uncertain terms, that her behavior was inappropriate and disrespectful. She feigned innocence, claiming she was just teasing and that I was too sensitive. The real drama began during the bachelorette party, which Chloe had insisted on organizing. Sarah had envisioned a relaxed weekend with her closest friends, but Chloe turned it into a wild, over-the-top affair, complete with male strippers and excessive drinking, knowing full well that Sarah wasn't comfortable with that kind of scene. Sarah tried to voice her discomfort, but Chloe brushed it off, saying, "It's your last night of freedom, Sarah. Live a little." I got a frantic call from Sarah late that night, tears streaming down her face. She was holed up in her hotel room, having escaped the party, and feeling completely miserable. I was furious. I drove 2 hours to pick her up, and we had a long, tearful conversation. Sarah finally admitted that Chloe's behavior was upsetting her and that she felt like she was losing control of her own wedding. We decided then and there that Chloe needed to be reined in. Sarah, with my encouragement, decided to have a heart-to-heart with Chloe, explaining that her behavior was unacceptable and that she needed to respect our wishes for the wedding. Chloe, predictably, played the victim. She cried, she apologized profusely, she swore she'd change. Sarah, wanting to believe her best friend, gave her another chance. I was skeptical, but I supported Sarah's decision. For a few weeks, things were calm. Chloe seemed to be on her best behavior. She even helped Sarah with some of the more tedious wedding tasks, which momentarily lulled us into a false sense of security. But then, the subtle sabotage started again, more insidious this time. Our wedding cake, which we had meticulously designed to reflect our personalities, was suddenly changed by Chloe. She told the baker that Sarah had changed her mind about the flavors and the design, opting for something far more traditional and, frankly, boring. We only found out when we went for our final tasting and were presented with a cake that was completely different from what we had ordered. The baker, confused, showed us the confirmation email, supposedly sent from Sarah's account, but it was clear that Chloe had orchestrated it. When confronted, Chloe again denied everything, claiming the email must have been a mix-up and that she was just trying to help out. The final straw came a week before the wedding. We had planned a beautiful outdoor ceremony at a vineyard. The weather forecast was looking great, and everything was set. Chloe, however, decided to sow discord among our families. She started spreading rumors that I was having cold feet, that I was only marrying Sarah for her family's money, which is ridiculous, as Sarah's family is comfortable, but certainly not wealthy, and that I was secretly still in love with an ex-girlfriend. These rumors reached Sarah's conservative grandmother, who became distraught. My own parents, hearing these whispers, were also concerned. Sarah was beside herself. She couldn't believe Chloe would go to such lengths. At this point, Sarah was a wreck. She was stressed, anxious, and losing sleep. Our dream wedding was turning into a nightmare, all thanks to Chloe. We realized that we couldn't let Chloe continue to wreak havoc. We had to take drastic action. We sat down and talked about it. Sarah, through tears, admitted that Chloe had always been like this, a constant source of drama and negativity in her life. She realized that she had been enabling Chloe's behavior for years out of a misguided sense of loyalty. I told her that our wedding was about us, about our love and our commitment, and that we couldn't let anyone, especially Chloe, ruin it. So, we made a difficult decision. We uninvited Chloe from the wedding. Sarah sent her a polite but firm message, explaining that Chloe's actions had caused too much stress and that we needed peace and positivity for our special day. Chloe, predictably, went ballistic. She unleashed a torrent of angry texts and voicemails, accusing Sarah of being a terrible friend, selfish, and under my control. She threatened to ruin our wedding day, to expose all my secrets, which I don't have, by the way, and to tell everyone what a horrible person Sarah was. We blocked her on everything. We also sent out a message to our close friends and family, briefly explaining that there had been some unforeseen circumstances with a guest and that we would appreciate it if any further drama was ignored. We didn't go into detail, but those who knew Chloe were not surprised. Despite Chloe's threats, we were determined not to let her ruin our day. We hired extra security for the wedding, just in case she tried to show up. We also had a serious talk with all our vendors, giving them a heads up about Chloe and asking them to be extra vigilant. The wedding day arrived, and it was everything we had dreamed of. The weather was perfect, the vineyard was stunning, and most importantly, Sarah was radiant. There was a palpable sense of peace and joy now that Chloe's dark cloud had been lifted. The ceremony was beautiful, the vows were heartfelt, and the reception was a joyous celebration of our love. During the reception, as we were enjoying our first dance, a commotion started at the entrance. I saw a security guard ushering out a very irate woman. It was Chloe. She had somehow managed to sneak past the initial security checkpoint, but she was quickly identified and removed. She was screaming obscenities, trying to push past the guards, and generally making a scene. Her face was contorted with rage, and she looked utterly unhinged. Our guests, who had been enjoying the music and dancing, turned to watch the spectacle. Sarah, seeing her, gasped, but I squeezed her hand and gave her a reassuring smile. We had prepared for this. The security guards handled her expertly, escorting her off the property without further incident. The brief disruption quickly faded, and the party resumed with even more fervor. It was a moment of vindication, a clear demonstration that Chloe's attempts to ruin our day were futile. Later that evening, after the adrenaline had subsided, we heard from one of the security guards that Chloe had been apprehended by the police. Apparently, she had caused a disturbance on public property outside the venue and had been issued a citation. She had also been making threats and disparaging remarks about Sarah and me to anyone who would listen. It was a pathetic display, and frankly, we felt a sense of relief. Our wedding was everything we had ever wanted and more. It was filled with love, laughter, and genuine happiness. The absence of Chloe, and her subsequent pathetic attempt at disruption, only highlighted how much better off we were without her negativity. Sarah finally felt free, unburdened by years of toxic friendship. Our families, who had been initially swayed by Chloe's rumors, saw the truth of her character and were incredibly supportive. In the end, Chloe's attempt to sabotage our wedding backfired spectacularly. Instead of ruining our day, she inadvertently made it even more special. It was a powerful reminder that true happiness comes from surrounding yourself with people who genuinely love and support you, and that sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to cut ties with toxic individuals, no matter how long they've been in your life. Sarah and I are now happily married, starting our new life together, completely free from the drama and negativity that Chloe brought. And that, truly, is the best revenge of all. We have blocked her permanently and have no intention of ever letting her back into our lives. Our peace of mind is worth more than any strained, unhealthy friendship. And for that, we are eternally grateful.